What's going on, everybody? Today's video is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be a should you buy review for Call of Duty Black Ops 3, but it's going to be very different from the traditional reviews that I do, as I'm not going to be writing anything down. I'm going to be just talking to you guys about some of the notes that I have on hand and letting you guys know some information about the game for you to make the decision for yourself if you want to buy another Call of Duty and is Black Ops 3 worth your time and your money. So let's get straight into this review and let's break down some information and see if you guys like what you hear.
You remember Diaz?
I think so.
Gonna help get you up to speed on some of the cool new shit you can do.
Story. The campaign story, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, so I'll just give you the synopsis of what's happening. In Call of Duty Black Ops 3, the year is 2065. It's 40 years after the events of Black Ops 2. What's happening in this timeline is it's so futuristic and so advanced that machinery has become such a part in the human race that it's actually more machines and people with machinery parts than actual humans running around. The concerns here are that they have gotten so advanced on different sides of the opposition as far as the military is concerned that combat is mostly done through Black Ops. So this being something where, of course, your team has to go across enemy lines and find out what's happening. Of course, there's things going on. The air forces are supposedly supposed to be so advanced that the only way to actually traverse enemy lines is through field combat. So with that being said, of course, that gives you the perfect setup for a field military combat Call of Duty type game. So what happens here is machinery is being used to take over certain parts of the world and do things, and you have to stop it and you have to find out what's going on. Controls. The controls for Black Ops is your typical Call of Duty controllers. A lot of people have concerns about how much is it like Advanced Warfare because of the jetpacks. Well, actually it's very similar, except for the jetpacks being the main emphasis of Advanced Warfare, whereas the main emphasis of Black Ops 3 is more about movement. You have jetpack thrusting in this game versus flying, actual double jumping and stuff like that. So pretty much in Black Ops, the movement is advanced with thrusters. So let's say you want to slide, you can now slide and thrust across the map. And of course, while thrusting, you also get that extra combat feel where you can control your guns while you're in the motion of doing this action. Of course, you can also traverse across walls now where you actually get to run across them. Instead of just simply jumping across the hole, you can actually jump across gaps by running across the side in a parkour fashion with your guns out blazing. So this is something that actually adds to the advantages and the tactical abilities of playing the game. Of course, online games like Titanfall had the same mechanic, but Call of Duty does it slightly different. And I'm not going to say it does it better, but it actually is not as identical as Titanfall would be. However, with this added into the traditional controllers, it makes for a different experience, and it definitely gives Call of Duty's IW engine a better feel. So this is definitely something that Infinity Ward, tweaked, because they were the first game, if you think about it, in Black Ops to have the crouch and duck, the slide and all of that. They were the first ones to do that, where you run and you actually dive as if you're playing baseball. So of course they advanced this now with similar to Advanced Warfare movement, but not identical to it. Okay, so that's the controls. Let's move along.
Our extract drone is inbound.
Features. Normally, if I was doing a review for a Call of Duty game for the past couple of years, I would actually skip this section of a review. However, for this Call of Duty, I am excited to say that there's actually a lot to talk about here. So let's get into the features and some of the things you may need to know or you didn't know that were in this Call of Duty that makes it actually unique from every other Call of Duty to date. The first one you'll see is Shadow of Evil. This is the new storyline for the zombie mode where you play with 4 different characters, one of them by which is very famous. You might recognize him. He's actually a celebrity and actor. They used his face and everything, his voice. You'll know who he is. It's pretty fun in a unique mode. I actually enjoy zombies a lot, and I'm looking forward to playing this a lot. This is something I can see myself spending a lot of time on. And then you have the other storyline, which is called The Giant, which focuses on your original Call of Duty zombie characters from Black Ops 1 and 2. Now, I'm not going to get too much into the storyline synopsis, but what I'll say is that one of the characters from 2 who you saw time travel visits his character, same characters from a different timeline, and they try to reset some wrongs that happened. Now, according to what I know, this is supposed to tie into the whole storyline of zombies. I have not beaten any of them because I just suck at it, I guess. But supposedly that's all gonna tie in, and we'll all get to find out some of the mysteries of the zombie mode. Now, also what makes the zombie mode interesting is that now it has its own skill set level system. So you can level up separately from multiplayer online matches in zombies. So this is actually, when you buy the game, what makes this very unique to me, and I actually found this to be quite interesting in today's times, you get 3 games in one. You get the campaign, which is actually good. It holds up on its own. Then you get the zombie mode, which is actually 2 campaigns, and it's zombie based, and it's still the same zombies, but it's actually much better in my opinion. The backgrounds, the maps, everything is better to me from what I've seen, and I enjoyed a lot. As you can see, there's like very unique maps here. And then of course you have the multiplayer, which is what most people buy Call of Duty for, which is a beast in itself. Of course, this multiplayer has been advanced as well. You get 9 different soldiers to choose from, as they have a new skill called specialists, and each one of these specialists has their own unique set of skills. Now, of course, each one of them has a special ability. You have aesthetics, you have weapons, you have attachments, you have variations. A lot of customization is now able to be done to your character as far as how he fights differently from other characters, and of course how he looks cosmetically. They've emphasized this a lot, and this is something that I think is very unique, and I think it's cool. Okay, so let's talk about the single player one more time, because there's actually a lot of different things going on here that need to be spoken of as well in the features section. One of the main new features to the single player is 4-player co-op. The maps are a lot bigger, and you can play with 3 people just doing co-op. You don't have to go online and play against people. I like how they gave you a variety of different options in this game. There's so much content. This is reportedly going to be the longest campaign in Call of Duty history. The campaign should roughly take you anywhere between 14 to 15 hours to beat. So this is actually unique, where most campaigns usually take you around anywhere between 6 and 8 hours. So the fact that you have 4-player co-op and it's a longer campaign with a nice story is one thing. Now here's where it gets even more interesting, and there's more for your buck. You beat the game, and then there's a nightmare mode where you can play the game over, and when you play the game over, various different events take place differently. So that gives you an incentive to actually play the game again. So keep in mind that the game is supposed to be 14 to 15 hours long, and then you can actually play it again, giving you that same time over. So once again, like I said, this Call of Duty is pretty impressive on the features. There's tons of content and tons of features, tons of modes, tons of everything. There's 3 games in it, so I'm impressed already. Graphics. Okay. There's an issue here with the graphics that I'm going to talk about as far as multi-platform. As far as the PC, we'll exclude that because we both know that it exceeds 2160p, which is 4K resolution. However, on Xbox, the resolution is reportedly coming in at 900p. Now, usually I don't like the fact that the 2 consoles have a different resolution, but when it comes to FPS games, you want a stable frame rate. And Xbox has a more stable frame rate at 60 frames than PS4 due to the fact that the PS4 is pushing 1080p. Now, the fact that the Xbox uses something called dynamic scaling gives it a slight advantage over the PS4 when it comes to the multiplayer online experience, which is ironic considering the PS4 is being marketed for the Call of Duty series this time around. Now, what we have here is a simple fact that the Xbox One is actually rarely affected by frame rate issues. However, when you're playing the game and things get a little bit intense on PS4, you do notice slight frame dips. Now, is it something horrible and horrid? Of course not. If you're somebody that primarily only plays on a console, you may not even notice it. However, to somebody like me who's played on PC, I did notice the frame rate dips on the PS4. Now, of course, I did try out the Xbox One version. I do not have the copy, however, and I can say from looking at it with my own 2 eyes that the Xbox One version has a better frame rate, which is slightly kind of odd, but I also know it's because they decided to go with the lower resolution to make sure that the frame rate was locked in. Now, does it dip? Of course it dips, but hardly and slightly, and when it does, it doesn't even really dip past 50. Now, when I test the video frame rates, I'm noticing that I don't see anything under 50 on Xbox. On PS4, there's times when I see a dip into the 40s, and you can kind of notice it when things are exploding. Now, as far as the actual textures, I don't like the textures in the game for the simple fact that they look like they are from last generation. Now, they said that the campaign was not going to be in the last generation games. I don't know how true that is because I see videos of people who are claiming to be playing the campaign on Xbox 360. Now, I did not test those versions to find out if that is true. Of course, you guys will let me know. However, I do notice that the graphics do not look up to par for a next-gen game. That's something that was very disappointing to me because when I played the multiplayer beta, those graphics looked a lot better than what I'm actually seeing right now. I don't know what that's about, but you guys will let me know. As far as the graphics are concerned, I think they're just okay. Textures could be a little bit more detailed. Even on PC, when I just tried it, I was very, very disappointed in the actual quality and detail that was put into the textures. As far as the colors, the explosions, everything's great. The action's great. The mechanics and everything feel good. Everything does feel next generation on that end. However, texture-wise, I feel like the graphics are a little bit of a letdown for Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
That's him.
Overall, we don't really need an overall here, do we? Let's be honest here. I mean, as far as Call of Duty, if you ever enjoyed one, this is probably going to be the best Call of Duty you're going to get to date. I mean, with people complaining about the way Ghost turned out and the way Advanced Warfare turned out and how this just comes along and smashes through both of those, I really have to admit I was shocked. I played the beta, I was impressed by the beta, I jumped on that hype train, and I honestly have to say the hype is real. Now, there's people that just don't trust Call of Duty anymore, and I understand it, but for those of you who don't trust it, I really suggest you give it a try. If you give the campaign a try and you like the campaigns before, you'll like the campaign here a lot more probably. If you played zombies, this is definitely zombies on steroids. If you like multiplayer, let's be honest, we already know from the beta what that's about. The multiplayer is very much on point and feels next gen, and I'm happy with it. And I like it a lot. So overall, I recommend that you actually buy this game and give it a try. I recommend that you definitely give it a shot. If you can't buy it or you don't trust it, I just recommend you try it. And you may be surprised at what you see. With the amount of content and the fact that you get 3 games in one, I definitely don't see how you can't buy it. If you think about it, the campaign's $20, the zombies is another $20, and the multiplayer is another $20. You put it together, you got $60. You get 3 games. Hey, what can I tell you? Okay, so it's your boy Jimmybgaming, and I recommend that you buy this game. Definitely, this is the best Call of Duty I've played today. I'm enjoying it a lot. Also, remember, I'm on the PS4 playing this primarily, so if you want to play with me, my gamer tag is in the description. Okay, so leave a comment, let me know what you think. Of course, like, comment, and subscribe so you can help me to do more videos like this and get this out here. Share it on all your social media, of course. Let me know what you think in the comment section below if you played this game, and if you're not gonna play it, let me know why, so maybe we could talk about it. Honestly, the game deserves a shot. A lot of effort was put into it. My only gripe with the game, and I'll say it again in the overall section, is the graphics. I feel like they should be better. They're not bad, they're not the worst, they're not the worst out of the series, but they, to me, should be better, especially considering they were targeting the next generation. Other than that, this is a great title. This is definitely worth a pickup. This is definitely worth a try. Let me know what you think. I'm out of here. Video going up. That's gonna be a new segment on my channel where I do suggestions on what people should get or use accessory wise for their gaming. So hopefully you guys mess with me on that. I'm gonna have like accessories for PC gaming, PlayStation, Xbox, and even Nintendo if that comes up. I currently do not own a Nintendo, so for you people that do Nintendo, I apologize, I don't have it, so I don't feel like I should get up here and talk about stuff I don't know. I'd rather do that than talk about shit from the perspective like how people say, oh, that's crap, that's garbage, and they don't own it. So since I don't own a Nintendo, I don't feel like it's my place to talk about Nintendo, good or bad, because everything I'm saying is just an opinion, and I like to have some kind of factual, you know, information or tangible object in front of me when I'm talking about something, rather than just going based off what other people are saying.